Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing awesome. So welcome back to another exciting video. So have you ever seen this error blocked by a CORS policy or access control allow origins headers missing or not present? But here comes the confusing part. So the same API works in the Postman but not in the browser. So what is broken? Frontend, backend or network? Neither. In this video, I'll explain the course in the simplest way possible, like why it works in the Postman and why it not works in the browser, and how to fix it using the live example of .NET and React. So without any further ado, let's start with the video. Hey everyone, I hope I am audible. Screen is visible. All checks. Cool, cool. So first, what is CORS? We all heard that like cross origin resource sharing. So, or you can say like it's a browser security mechanism which controls the web application you are running on one origin is able to access the resource from the different origins. So what does that mean? So browser basically ask permission before sharing the data to the different origin. Now what I am referring to different origins here. So let's I mean okay, so let me talk about first origin. So what course actually is like the mental model. So who is that? Is this something important? No. Cool. So uh, like origin is a combination of your protocol, domain and port. Protocol or scheme, you can say that is your HTTP, or could be your HTTP or HTTPS. Then your domain name, like we have localhost here, and the port number on which your application is running or hosted. Cool. So this is the origin. So as you can see here, we have one with the 3000, one with the 5000. So these are different origins. Although everything is same, if you are using S over there, HTTPS, like different protocol, if everything change like the protocol, domain or the port, then that's a different origin. Okay. A web page can yeah a web page cannot talk to another origin unless the server explicitly allows it. So that's why we see like the error in the console, blocked by CORS policy or access control, origin not allowed. Okay. So cool. So that was about your CORS. The common misunderstanding, it's visible. Yeah, the common misunderstanding, like as a developer we might think that is this a backend issue, like your backend is blocking, or the front end issue, or like why? Because it's working in the Postman but it's not working in the browser using your console or the different applications. So why? So here's the truth. So here's the truth. CORS is not enforced by the backend. CORS is enforced by the browser. Okay. So so Postman doesn't care about CORS. Curl doesn't care about, your backend doesn't block the request. Only the browser does. Although when you send a request, comes the response comes to your browser, but it blocks because that is from different origins. Okay. So there are some extension that you can use to bypass these requests, but that is not the good way. So what we do, we generally define the cores or the origins that we are allowing to send a request, so that we generally define on the backend side. Okay, so I'll walk you through with the live example we have for the .NET and React in this video. So I'll walk you through that as well. That is upcoming in the video. Okay, so what next I have for this, just give me a moment. It's hot water. सर्दियाँ हैं तो गर्म पानी पी लेना चाहिए थोड़ा सा. Okay, so the course actually is we have understand this. So why Postman works but browser fails? So Here comes an interesting part. The very first, the Postman is not your browser. Okay, so what it does, it send a request with the headers, it gets a response. Yeah, that's all. It's the end of a story. But your browser, sometimes it sends your pre-flight request. Now you might be wondering, what is pre-flight request? So pre-flight request your browser sends to make sure that whether you are the sending the you are or the browser is eligible to access the resource from that particular server or not. So how it sends and when does this pre-flight request occurs, I'll tell you. So that's why, because your Postman doesn't care about your CORS, as I mentioned here as well. Postman doesn't care about CORS, even though curl also, but your backend doesn't block, and your backend doesn't block the request, but only browser does. Okay, so just keep this in mind. So do we have anything else here? Cool. So next we have the pre-flight request options. Yeah, and the real villain. Okay, so what is pre-flight request? Okay, so basically when you send a request, a non-simple request, could lead to your put request or the delete request. So in that scenarios, or whether you are just adding custom headers into your request, so your browser sent a pre-flight request to your server to check whether I am eligible, or the backend is allowing me to access the resource. Okay, so what basically browser asks, can I use this HTTP method, whatever it is making called? Can I send these headers? Can I include credentials? If the server responds correctly, only the actual request is sent. Absolutely. So, in short, we can say the pre flight request should be successful to make an actual request. Okay, so it sends first it sends the प्री फ्लाइट रिक्वेस्ट. अगर वो आपकी सक्सेसफुल हो जाती है तभी आपकी एक्चुअल जो कॉल है वो बैकएंड सर्वर पे जाती है, वरना नहीं जाती है. अब ये कैसे होता है, क्या हम इसको वॉच कर सकते हैं नेटवर्क टैब में? आई विल शो यू, जस्ट वेट. ओके, next we have when pre-flight happens. So for the non-simple methods like your get and post are simple. When you are just appending like the put and delete are your not non-simple methods, your custom headers. And when you are appending authorization header or the JSON content type, then it becomes your non-simple methods and the pre-flight request. Now what are the CORS headers we have? So the very first we have access control allow origin. So origin is like which origins we are allowing, like who can access the request, or I can fulfill the request to. Okay, access control allow methods, like what methods is to be, like your get, post, put, delete and all. Access control allow headers, like what headers, like the HTTP headers, and I can say the authorization headers and all those. Access control allow credentials. So these are the headers we have. And what next? The mistakes wrapper will see later. So let me walk you through with the code first. So we have code for this. Oh no, damn. I hope my code screen is visible. So here is the simple. I have created one file, coursefail.cs, and inside that I have defined. And if you don't know about this stuff, so these are the features of your .NET 10. So I already have a video on this on my channel, and right now it's flashing or popping up on the screen. So if you don't know about this, so just go and check it out. It's crazy, really are, it's crazy. Okay, so cool. So this is my simple program.cs, and this is my controller. So I'm not doing any fancy stuff here, and this is my backend. So let me quickly run this. Oh, .NET run coursefail.cs. Cool. So it's running on port number 5000, and one snippet I have for UI as well. Oh yeah. So this is our React app. So what are we doing here? Okay. नो एजेंट पड़ा रहने दो, हम एक्सेस नहीं कर रहे एजेंट को. And this is here I am just making the fetch call, and let me quickly start. क्या आपने कॉल किया था ना? हाँ वो डिनर के लिए बता दिया. Thank you. Then we have, and now we are inside course demo, and we can simply run npm run dev. Cool, it's running on 5.0. Cool. So let me also open the network and console. Okay. So who CORS error? So yeah, it generally happens because now the request is going from the origin this, and we are like our backend is running on the different origin, which is your this 5000. Cool. So you will definitely get this error. All right. Just one more thing. Cool. So like my backend is running on the 5000 port and my front end is running on different ports. So these are different origins. So now we have to define the, also you are getting the error here, like access to from origin has been blocked by CORS policy. No access control allow origin header is present. Cool. So what we can do, let me go to my backend. So we have to define here, इसको बंद करो यार, ये नहीं चाहिए हमें. Perfect. So let me stop this. So what we have to do, we have to define the CORS here. So we can say builder dot services dot add CORS, and the options we are defining here. No, where the front end is running on the port number here. So let me take this, and instead of this URL I'll simply define this here. Cool. And one more thing, so before mapping the controllers we have to inject in the pipeline allow specific origin. Perfect, we have configured the CORS here. आई बिलीव आपको एक्स्ट्रा नॉइज़ नहीं आ रही, अगर आ रही है तो प्लीज़ इग्नोर. लाइक अभी तक कोई था नहीं, अब सब लोग आ गए हैं. सो आई एम रियली सॉरी फॉर दैट. क्या ज़्यादा नॉइज़ आ रही है क्या? सो प्लीज़ ट्राई टू इग्नोर दैट नॉइज़. Now we can simply run this, and we have defined this. Now let me go back to my app, and now let me call this API again. It's saying, I think I have to remove this, and I need to run this again. And cool, we got a response, hello from API. Now let me make a call here. Now if you observe here, we simply make a get request and there is no pre-flight request. Like in the escalator here we talked about, like we have pre-flight request. So when this happens, so when we like use custom headers and authorization. Okay, so let's access define here a custom headers. So how we can define those? So let me define headers. So I wanna define here authorization, and I wanna define your token here. Cool. And is this refreshed? Yeah. So let me go again here, and oh boom, see, now we have a pre-flight request, and as you can see, this also sent to the API, and this is options request. Like in the pre-flight we send options request, and this is fulfill, and then we are getting the response. But how we are getting the response? Because in the here, yeah, we have allowed any header. Let me remove this from the CORS policy, and if we run this, now we probably should get the error, and our pre-flight request should not be fulfilled, and our actual call will not be sent to the browser, oh sorry, to the server. Yeah, so this is the pre-flight request, and this was not successful, and our actual request was not sent. We are getting the CORS error. Okay, so if we observe here, so what was the difference? So we were allowed the headers, like the authorization, like whatever we sent we get in the response headers from the like request what we are sending. And also like when we send a request, so in the request headers we get the origin, like from where we are sending the request, and in the response we get the origin, like this origin is allowed, and these access headers, and these access control allow headers like the authorization. This was allowed earlier, but here if you observe, we are not getting the headers because that are not allowed. We have disabled that headers in our backend. So if I again allow this, I have to run my backend again, and if we will go back to here, and I'll make a call to the, yeah, as you can see, now we are allowed with the headers, custom headers. It sent a pre-flight request with the options, and after that the actual request was sent to the server. So that was about your pre-flight request, and also you can just configure this course, but it's not like the simple like as I'm showing you here, because we use like the best we use like the API gateway and reverse proxies to configure cores and everything. So okay, so that was for your like the code part. This was a very basic code, but just to like understanding the things like how your course works, like when the request comes from different origins and how to allow them. So the next we have here like the common mistakes. Yeah, this is interesting. So the common mistakes using laser we can use here, just okay. So using allow any origin in production. No. So what we do, we generally define a star like use. We are allowing like we are just opening this API to expose to anyone. Like we are defining star. Don't do that. Ignoring options request. We basically ignore the options request, and also like what happens, sometimes our pre-flight request fails, and what we see, like we are sending a request and we put a debugger on the controller, but like the control is not, the request is not hitted, yaar. But what happens, you put a debugger on the controller, and you just send a request from the browser, and you are watching your debugger, why it's not hitted yet. You are just watching your controller, यार रिक्वेस्ट अभी तक आई नहीं है, कंट्रोल क्यों नहीं आया. बट क्या होता है, योर प्री फ्लाइट रिक्वेस्ट वॉज नॉट सक्सेसफुल, so that's why the original request was not initiated. So always like do not ignore. In that scenario, just go and check whether your pre-flight request is successful or not. Okay, so ignoring options request, do not ignore that. Okay, thinking CORS is an API security feature. Now this is not API security, this is your browser mechanism, security mechanism we can say, that basically controls like whether from the different origin you can just share the resources or not. Disabling CORS without understanding it, do not do that. CORS does not protect your API, it protects users using browsers. Yes. And now we have the last section, which is the best practices and wrap up. Use API gateway or reverse proxies. Yes, always use your these. And define exact allowed origins. Yes, you can define with the comma, like comma separated values. You can define your specific origins, like whom you want to allow to access the resources or the data. Handle pre-flight properly. प्री फ्लाइट मतलब ऐसा नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा प्री फ्लाइट हो रहा है इसमें, बट या इट इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट. It's just the browser asking permission. Yes, the course is, it's just the browser asking permission, nothing else. Okay, so yeah, that's all. Okay, so yeah, that's all about for this video. So if this video saved your little time to like understanding course, and if you have faced any issue in the past and you think that yeah, course we can fix now, so hit a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Bye bye.